Ser de buen comer. Ooh, this is another common one. Ser de buen comer. Do you know what this means? Ser, you know what ser means, right? Ser means to be, okay? De buen, usually when you say ser de, it's used when you're saying I'm from, I don't know, like you can say I'm from Mexico. Soy de México, okay? Or soy de Perú. I'm from Peru. Soy de Estados Unidos. I'm from America. But in this situation, we're not saying we are from somewhere. We're talking about food. So, buen comer, buen means like good, well, okay? Mostly good. It's similar to bueno, but buen is used before verbs or before nouns. And comer, you know what comer means? Comer means to eat. So what are we talking about? This expression means to have a good appetite, to not be a picky eater, okay? So you enjoy food. Essentially, you're talking about not only liking food, but you're not picky and you just have a good appetite, okay? So you eat well. You can be a foodie, or I mean, it could be similar to that, but it's more like you have a good appetite, okay? Ser de buen comer. Ser de buen comer. For example, I could say, Miguel es de buen comer. Miguel es de buen comer. So we're talking about Miguel. Miguel, you kind of know already what it means. Miguel has a good appetite, right? So let's see what this sentence means. Miguel enjoys eating. Okay, so it's similar to that. Or Miguel has a good appetite, or Miguel is not a picky eater. So essentially, you enjoy eating. You have a good appetite. Miguel es, guys, remember, es comes from the verb ser. So from this verb. So you gotta know how to conjugate the verb ser if you want to use this phrase, this expression. Miguel es de buen comer. Okay? De buen comer. This is the rest of the expression right here. So de buen comer. Es de buen comer. Miguel enjoys eating. And again, similar to saying Miguel has a good appetite. He's not a picky eater. Okay? So very easy. It's a very easy sentence. Very easy example. Let's look at the next one. Yo siempre he sido de buen comer. Okay? Yo siempre he sido de buen comer. This means I've always had a good appetite. So if someone is saying, like, why don't you want to eat? Because you don't feel like eating or whatever. You can say, I know I've always had a good appetite. Yo sé que siempre he sido de buen comer, but estoy enfermo. I'm sick. Or you don't feel well, so maybe you're not eating well, right? So this is a common phrase just to say that someone has a good appetite, and in general, that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. Ser de buen comer. Remember, just remember that obviously you can also remove yo from the sentence. Siempre he sido de buen comer. So if you hear someone saying that means the person is has a good appetite, okay? In this situation, well, yeah, like in most situations, you don't need to say yo all the time. And unless you want to really, really make clear it's yo, right? But it's interesting that in Spanish, we don't need to say pronouns all the time. It's very crazy because in English you kind of need them. You kind of need them all the time. Okay, so siempre means always. Siempre. Siempre, always. He sido. I have had. So it's similar to that, you know, like you can conjugate the verb ser, but also keep in mind that sometimes the buen comer is just the general term to say good appetite, okay? Specifically, someone has a good appetite. So this sentence is a bit more complex because we're not saying yo soy de buen comer, right? That's a more simple way to say I have a good appetite. Yo sé, or yo sé que soy de buen comer. I know that I have a good appetite. That's a different way to say this. But he sido is like saying I have had. Okay, in this situation, similar to that because we're talking about appetite. And then the buen comer, a good appetite, pretty much. So let me show you really quickly what I mean when, if you want to keep it simple, of course, you can say it this way, or you can simplify it and say, yo sé yo sé que soy de buen comer. Yo sé que I would remove siempre because you're just, you know, saying that you have a good appetite. Yo sé que soy de buen comer. I know that I have a good appetite. Okay, so that's a different way, a similar way to say the same thing, but you're just keeping it a bit, you know, a bit easier for you to, you know, form the sentence. Yo sé is a great expression that means I know. Yo sé, I know. When you add que, yo sé que, that you're adding more to I know. It's like saying I know that. But in English, sometimes you don't need to say I know that all the time. You can say I know I have a good appetite. So, but in Spanish, we need this if you want to add more to I know. Okay? Yo sé que, soy de buen comer. So right here, we're using a simpler way to say, you know, that I have a good appetite. Soy comes from ser, right? It's a conjugated verb of the verb ser. And then we add the rest, de buen comer. And that's it. So it's a bit simpler. You can also say soy de buen comer. So that's even simpler. So you can say that as well. And that means I have a good appetite. Soy de buen comer. I have a good appetite, right? So that's something more simple that you can say in Spanish, but either way works. I mean, it's up to you what you want to say, right? But I just want to show you that you can keep it simple as well, and that's fine. If your English is a bit more, you know, it's not as advanced as you might want it to be, you can just keep it simple. Keep it simple. It's always good. It's always good. If your Spanish is more advanced, then you can add more to sentences, right? You can make them more complex. Just, I want to go back to what I had. Right, that's it. Yo siempre he sido de buen comer. I've always had a good appetite. Okay, so that's perfect. That is perfect. It's good to learn, by the way. It's good to learn this little phrase here. Yo he sido, tú has sido, él ha sido. Okay, because it's like saying I have had or he has had and so on. So we can have another lesson about that, but it's a very good thing to know for sure.